Hey everyone, Mr. Devil here, Kenny Danico, 3-time Stanley Cup champion of the New Jersey Devils, and you're listening to the Uncle Pucker's New Jersey Devils podcast. Let's go Devils!
All right, I think that we got this fixed. I'm just waiting for Tony. We had a complete and total fuck up here. Hey Mike, how are you? Yeah, I don't know what the hell happened, man. This was a disaster, but I think that we got the internet gremlins fixed. I have no clue what the hell happened. But anyway, Tony's getting back on, so we're going to try this thing again. If you guys, thanks for hopping on, and if you stay on, I appreciate it. Oh, my God. So where to start? Yeah, well, Tim wasn't even on yet, was he? Let me just make sure that I'm just letting the guys know now that we're good. So when they hop on, they hop on. So what I actually wanted to talk a little bit about tonight with the guys is, I don't think it was Bigfoot. Mike, Mike Ruff, do you believe in Bigfoot before we even start? I just want to ask you. You live in the Vancouver area, the Bigfoot hotspot of North America. Are you a believer? Are you one of those people that go out in the woods in the middle of the night and make stupid noises and try and attract an imaginary beast? Just curious. Yeah. And I have to say, those pictures that you sent, those Photoshops that you did were absolutely hysterical. I was cracking up, especially the ancient alien one. That was extremely funny. Do you believe in Bigfoot? Okay. Do you have a Bigfoot story? Because if you do, you got to come on the show and tell us. Who doesn't believe in Joe Hendry? I do want to start with the rumors that are coming out now, and Devil Sphere, and it seems like it's the same playbook, right? It's the Devils are interested in Brad Marchand. The Devils are interested in Ehlers. The Devils are interested in all these people. And we heard it all, every trade deadline we hear it, right? Devils are interested in, oh, wait. Let's see. There he is.
Where are you now? I don't know what's going on.
Dude, that was a complete and total clusterfuck. I have no idea what happened, dude.
It's giving me trouble signing in, too, so I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. It's probably the Iranians. It's the Libyans, Marty. They found me. I don't know how, but they found me. So
you get some heat over there. I heard it's been hot as shit.
And that might be the reason. I mean, it's seriously like 100 degrees over here. So, yeah. So I was just saying before, Tone, like how now that like all the rumors and everything start hitting, right? And it's always that we're interested in all these players, right? And we never seem to get any of them. And it happens every trade deadline. It happens every, now next week, a week from Tuesday. I don't have any faith that Tom Fitzgerald is going to pull the right moves. Now, he did get rid of Eric Holla. I'm curious what you thought about that move. We'll start with that. What did you think of that? I mean, to me, it was just a salary dump. That was it.
Yeah, and obviously the season before, obviously we all liked Holla, but after this season, I was kind of hoping they would move him. So I don't know if they're going to do that much, though. I mean, they got to do a couple things, but I don't think there's going to be any big, gigantic move happen. Unless,
here's the thing that really, I mean, we all said last year that we expected Nashville to be good. I think everybody thought Nashville was going to be good. And then we saw what Nashville was, which was a complete and total shit show. I mean, if you're Nashville Predators and you're looking at your team and you're like, we really, to get over this hump, like we need to get older and slower and worse. Let's go get Eric Holla. Why are you getting Eric Holla if you're Nashville? I don't understand that move on their part. That to me was crazy. Like out of all the teams that would have taken him, why Nashville?
No, I agree. I agree with Snow too. I don't really think anything. I don't think much has come. I'm not excited for moves right now.
Well,
I would love to see some happen, but I don't know. I think we got to move Hamilton. I don't know. I know Tim's a big Hamilton guy, and I don't hate Dougie, but I think he's got to go.
I agree. I agree. I think you have to get rid of Dougie Hamilton. And here's the thing about like Mercer and Palat, and I know those guys are big on, people are big on leaving, them leaving. And if they both left the team, I in no way, shape, or form would give a shit. But if those two dudes are going to be okay, here's 3 wing, 3C. I can live with that if that's where they're going to stay. And maybe you have the new KHL kid, Glitzlick, or whatever the hell is Dicklick, whatever his name is. You have him on the other wing, and maybe that can work. I don't know. I'm willing to, but the Dougie Hamilton one, to me, that him and Mercer are the two that you're actually going to get good returns on. Nobody's giving you a good return on Andre Palat. Somebody's going to want that veteran leadership, and they're going to want you to eat half of their contract. They're probably not willing to spend more than $3 or $4 million for Palat. So if you send them to Anaheim or Utah or a place, an up and coming team in Montreal, maybe they'll take them. But at the same time, I just, to me, those are the two guys that you have to move off of. Timmy, what's up?
What did you think of? What's up, Tim?
What's up, boys?
What did you think of that move? That Philly move? Everyone's here. It's
Fuck
like
this.
70. I mean, we're not even having a summer here in Eastern Europe. It's crazy. It's like 70, 75. It's been chilly this week. I mean, insane.
It's about 100 right now in Central Jersey. It sucks.
Yeah, I just lost my internet in the middle of the meeting I was just in.
Okay, so something must have been happening, because this is our second stream, because the first one was a complete and total clusterfuck. We started it. We were freezing up. We couldn't, guys were on, and we just couldn't. I couldn't see Tony. He couldn't hear me. I was like a max headroom, and so we had to actually end it, which took like 10 minutes to end it, because they wouldn't even let us end it, because the whole internet. So your internet was fucked up too, huh?
Yeah, I think so.
They're already attacking you, Tim, in the chat, by the way.
I take it.
They're already getting you for your Hamilton love.
Hamilton is one of the best offensive defensemen in the game, except he can't fucking stay healthy. So if we move off of him for a good deal, great. I'm fine with that. My biggest concern with moving off of Hamilton is what the right side of our defense looks like going into the season and for a couple months after that. We have no idea what actually was wrong with Kovacevic, but if it's a knee ligament, that's at least 9 months. Is he going to be the same guy? Are we running out Casey to start the season for 5 months? Because that scares me a little bit. And we're kind of back to where we were 2 years ago when we had two little Bambis, deer in headlights, playing defense for us.
Well,
that's
really
my concern about moving off from Dougie. The biggest
That's
problem is that he fucking gave Kovacevic this fucking 5-year deal.
That's what I was going to bring up.
Right at the deadline. And absolutely no reason.
There was no reason to give him that contract. You could have signed him at any point. You wait and see how the season goes. And if we didn't sign him, he wouldn't be on this team, because you're not going to sign him now with the busted leg or the knee ligament damage or whatever. You're not going to sign him. This is Tom Fitzgerald at his worst, when he just sees this bright, shiny object and doesn't give it time to actually marinate and see what you really have. And he gives him this fucking stupid contract with a no trade clause for 4 or 5 years. And now we're stuck with him. And you can't move him because he's injured. So
that was Lou's like golden rule is if you have time, use it.
And Fitz didn't with Kovacevic. And I think that's a move that can end up biting him in the ass, because you're right. To move off Dougie, you do leave yourself vulnerable in that position.
Yes. And I've said a few times, sorry, I know I'm coming in hot.
No,
about my internet.
We're all hot, Tim. It's 100 degrees out.
Oh my God.
I feel great.
I'm not built for this. It's because I'm fat. That's why I'm not built for this.
I want to answer Mike Ruff's questions too. Go ahead.
Yeah, I just I'm kind of aligned with Ruff on this. It's just like we had one of the worst offensive blue lines in the league last year. You take Dougie out of that equation, like Luke could potentially step up. I think he should. Do we have a $9 million power play 2 quarterback? I think it's complicated, but I don't think it's as cut and dry as saying see you later, Dougie. We'll flip you for a third and just plug in Casey. It's not that simple.
No, it's not. And I also think that a lot of it depends on the unknown and the unknown of what Fitz is going to do. We have no idea. Is he seriously thinking about trying to get Quinn Hughes here this summer? Is that something that's in his plan? Is there anybody else he has his eye on to maybe move off of Dougie? My only issue with Hamilton is what you brought up before, and we've said it a million times on here. 120 games missed in the 4 years in New Jersey.
Yeah.
That is, 1 1/4 seasons, 1 1/3 seasons. You can't have that, a quarter rather. You can't, you're not going to get. We need this guy healthy. When he's healthy, go back to 2023. Was that the year that we had the big year, or 22, whatever it was? The 112 points. He was fantastic. He played pretty much every game, and that's what we need. So yeah, for me, I'm fine with Hamilton if he's healthy.
Yeah,
if he
exactly.
is, and that's the thing. You can't trust him. And that brings us to like the main subject of what we want to talk about today, which is we're all going to come up with 3 Devils that really have to prove it this year. The guys that are on this team right now that have maybe been injury plagued or just haven't been able to live up to their potential.
Totally
but I do
fucking
want to
forgot
talk
about this.
That's all right. You do it on
I
the
gotta
fly.
start thinking here.
That's
I
fine.
totally
Fly.
forgot about this shit.
I honestly, I don't think our lists are going to be very different.
No, I don't either. I think it might be dead on every one of us. It comes down to, and we were saying before, Tim, like it seems like it's starting again, right? Where the Devils are interested in every free agent or every trade that guys that are on the block. We're always in the mix. We're always sniffing around, but we never do anything. And that's what's frustrating to me. Like I wish that we knew. I think we knew last year, clear path, right? Clear plan. We knew what it was going. He had to bolster the defense. He had to get a goaltender, and that's what he did. Like we know kind of what has to be done here, but we have no idea of whether or not he's actually going to pull some strings. Why isn't Cody Glass signed? Are we not interested in Cody Glass? I mean, we traded for him. Do we not want him to play a 4C? Do we have somebody else that's going to step into that
So
spot?
I think this is what's happening with Cody Glass is they think because his qualifying offer I think is 2.5 and he has arbitration rights. And so I think the Devils are saying, all right, well, we don't want to pay him 2.5, so they're not going to qualify him. They did this with McLeod and Bastian a couple of years ago. So if they could sign him for like 3 years at $2 million, I think Glass seems like a guy that is more interested in stability and staying in the same place than anything. But if he walks in free agency, I don't think it's a good thing for the Devils since we just got rid of Holla. So I'm expecting a Glass deal actually pretty soon.
And you're saying for $2 million?
Ideally, yeah. Like, I think generally the barometer is, $1 million for every 10 points. That's probably going to change with the cap going up a little bit, but 20, 25 points, something like that. I mean, he was on a half a point per game pace with us when he came over. I think he had 7 points in 14 games. So
yeah.
I mean, he's got good size. He's got good speed. He's good in the dot. Like he's great defensive metrics. Like he's the exact like 4C that we need. And he's a righty too, which, I hate to be an old man about like righty lefty, but like having a right-handed center is pretty important, particularly for D zone draws. If he's our 3C, I have a problem with that. He should be our 4C.
Well, I mean, I would assume that the plan was because look, we all know that Holla, if he was going to stay here, he wasn't our 3C anymore. He's at best a 4C at this point in his career. So with him getting traded, I assumed it was going to be Cody Glass, and then yet nothing has been done yet. I don't understand I get if you have time, take it aspect, but when it comes to a player that played for you for half the year that you went out and traded for, who seemingly wants to stay here, why not just lock that up right now? I mean, I know you got the Luke Hughes deal on the horizon. You have to take care of that. And what do you guys think about that one? Should that be, because I've been hearing things about a possible bridge deal, 4 years, for maybe a little bit more right now, or however it works, or like an 8 by 8.5. Me personally, I don't want to see Luke with a bridge deal because in my crazy, weird logic, that fucks things up for Quinn ever coming to Jersey. Because let's say you only sign him for a 4-year deal. Now you have him now, and let's say you're planning on waiting for Quinn to finish up in Vancouver. Let's say he walks in 2 years. This is all completely reckless speculation because if he's on the team in Vancouver 2 years from now, he's being traded. They're not going to let him just walk for nothing. But regardless, I'm just for my argument.
Yeah,
Is Quinn going to come here if there's only a guarantee that they're going to play together for a year or two? Like, I think you have to lock them up, and it makes it more enticing to get Quinn to come here. Like, hey, Jack's here for another 6, Luke's here for another 8. Come on over. That's how I feel. So that's why I don't want a bridge deal with him. I want Luke to be a Devil forever. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I think I agree with you, and I actually like see what Mike Ruff was saying in there about Ross Colton. I do like him too. You know, he's a Jersey guy too. Grew up a Devils fan.
Yeah.
You know, but yeah, I mean, I think you got to make Luke a Devil forever. I think if you have, you know, I mean, I've even heard people actually during the offseason already be like, oh, you know, Jack, if he doesn't do it this year, and about, I don't want to see the U's leave the Devils. I think they're, you know, big part of the organization for us. I mean, it's our player. Like, we finally have that guy now. You know, health has obviously been the big thing, which we talked about the last time I was on with him. But I think Luke, 7 or 8 years, I would say.
What's Ross Colton's deal?
I don't know what his deal is.
I don't have any info on him.
Let's find
Are you
out.
looking it up?
Yeah, I'll look it up.
Yeah,
I'm
you're
afraid
right.
to open up anything else on internet wise. After
Yeah,
what
we had a
before.
shit show going on.
It's like
It's what a fucking mess.
It was a mess.
Yeah, I agree with you on Luke. Luke's funny because it's like he like basically lives on his brother's couch, like in the, you know, Quinn and Jack built this house in Michigan, right? And Luke basically like lives on their couch. So what if the conversations with Luke, I was just thinking about this the other day. What if Fitz is like, hey, Luke, your brothers are going to be making $200 million combined. You live on their couch. You have one pair of shoes. Like, you don't really need that much money. Just wait until see what we do in free agency, and I'll give you like $1 million at the end of the day. And Luke's like, okay, I'll do that. Yeah, I think that's the type of shit I was thinking of the other day. But I think with poor Luke. I think with if anything, I don't know. I think locking him up long term is the right solution, because if this guy pops off over the next 2 or 3 years and the cap's going up in a massive way, suddenly now Luke's getting $12-14 million a year in 3 years, and it's just like, oh shit, now we're in the same kind of cap problem. So Colton has 2 years left at $4 million, and he's 28.
He's in Colorado, right?
In Colorado. I'm closing Puckpedia before it blows up my computer.
Yeah, I don't blame you. Don't fuck around. So he's in Colorado, who, if I remember correctly, is one of those teams that is seriously up against it, right? Like them, Dallas.
Yeah, Colorado and Dallas, Winnipeg a little bit, depending on who they resign and don't resign. But it's really Colorado and Dallas are the two. Like Marchment, you know, I thought he was a guy that we could pry away, but Seattle got him for fucking peanuts.
And you have to think we'd get some of that hometown thing going. I'm sure, because like I said, I watched specials on that kid. He was a huge Devils fan when they were having their runs back in the day and stuff. So I think getting Colton would be, I don't think it's a hard, you know, I think he would love to come to New Jersey.
Well, I mean, I don't he doesn't like jump out at me like his play. Like I'm trying to like remember Ross Colton plays that really stand out to me, but I don't watch a lot of Avalanche. So
he's the one that hurt Luke the very first time.
Yes, Steven was saying that in there.
He sent Luke to the Shadow Realm.
Okay. To the Shadow Realm. All right, I remember that. Okay, so I see it here. Colton is the one that plastered Luke into the boards a couple of years ago. That's right. Okay.
Yeah, that was a fucking big hit. Like I think he kind of fits it. Like, you know, I've said this a couple times, like what we need, and he would be a 3C, 2 years, $4 million. That's a pretty good deal, and that's fittable. You know, depending on who else we unload. Fittable.
I just don't want him to go and fits it all up this summer. You know, I mean,
I don't think he's gonna fits it up this summer.
Well, with Glass,
very dry.
With Glass, not signed and Holla gone, one of two things is happening. Either the man has an absolute plan and knows what he wants to do
awesome.
and has every intention to go out and do it starting a week from tomorrow on free agency, or he has no fucking idea what he's going to do and we're completely screwed. So we'll see,
It's probably somewhere in the middle.
Yeah.
Who knows? Like, remember all the rumors that we were going to sign Marchessault in free agency? Like, I'm started to wonder, like, does Fitz just fucking have a contract offer for everybody and hopefully
I think
someone
so.
bites? Like, does he just throw
Yeah.
a bunch of contracts in the water and hopefully, like, he catches a fish somehow?
It seems like that.
I'm concerned that
move,
that's
though,
actually
by
his.
Like Florida getting him though. When you look at that cover,
Oh, you're
on him,
talking. Well, no, he's talking about Jonathan Marchessault in Nashville. You're
Oh,
talking
yeah,
about
yeah.
Brad
But
Marchand.
Marchand, yeah, like, I don't know. What do you think of
Jesus
him? Like, would you sign him in free agency? Because there's been a lot of speculation recently about Marchand, but it would
Okay.
probably be like a 4 years by $8 million,
yeah,
which takes him to like 42 years old.
All right. I'm okay with the age. That doesn't bother me. I think that this dude can still play. He's a playoff performer. Age isn't like it was 10 years ago. And once you hit that 40 mark, unless your name was Chris Chelios, you were done playing.
Right.
I think that Brad Marchand will be. I mean, if you look at a 4-year deal, you probably are married to it for at least 2, and then maybe you can get off of it down the road. So it's not always set in stone that it's a 4-year, you're going to be with the guy for 4. I'm on board for Marchand if it's 6 highest, not because he's not worth 8.5, but because I know we can't do that. Not for a bottom 6 guy. So, and that's where he belongs. He belongs on the 3rd line. So can you get him for the right price? Fuck yeah, sign him up.
Well, like, look at the deal that Jonathan Toews just signed. Like,
what did he get? $4 million?
No, it was like a $2 million base, and it was all bonuses. So, like,
Okay.
for us, if a guy's over 35, you can structure the contract in a way that it's very much bonus laden. So, like, the money, if he hits those bonuses, then it doesn't count towards that year's cap. It gets rolled over to the next year's cap. So, like, if you front load all the money, like all the actual salary that he's getting paid, so the AAV is a certain amount, but say it's 4 years at $8 million, which is $32 million, right? If you give him 25 of that up front, which is a fucking preposterous number, but hear me out, then his buyout on the back end is a lot cheaper in 2 years, because our window is the next 2 years. I think, to, like, if this core group is going to win a cup, it's going to be in the next 2 years. I'm a little concerned that that's not going to happen.
Maybe the plan is Dicklick and Hamaniho. Maybe those are the guys that, maybe Fitz is planning on seeing some big things from them this year. But again, if you are going to ride the expectation of this team in the next couple of years to a couple of rookies, yeah, we saw how that worked out 2 years ago, like you had mentioned before, Tim, with Casey and Nemec. I mean, Luke and Nemec, rather. So,
well, I think look out for a 3C Juho Lamico.
Oh yeah, I forgot about him.
Yeah, so did I. I was just kidding. If that's our 3C, we are fucked.
Maybe he's our 4C, and Glass would be 3C.
Maybe, I don't know. God, if Glass is our 3C, say hi to Jax.
Where are you going, Tim?
Say hi to Jax.
Oh, hi, Jax. How are you?
What's up, dog?
Yeah,
I wanted to ask you guys too with Marchand. Isn't it funny? Like, I felt the same way about Crosby. I hated Crosby when he first was in the league. I hated Marchand when he was in the league in his early days. I think when these guys start really winning championships, you just can't help but kind of, I don't know. I couldn't stand a little rat.
No, I hated him.
Now I have a respect for him. It's the same thing with Crosby. Like, eventually, I think it grows to like, okay, you kind of have the room to talk some shit sometimes, and their game, if they're on your team, as much as we hate them, if he was in the red sweater doing that shit, we'd probably love him because we loved Claude Lemieux. How many teams fucking hated Claude Lemieux?
I gotta say what Brad Marchand is probably, this is quite possibly the greatest free agent PR tour that I've ever seen in my life. like a guy coming up on free agency, just the PR tour that he's gone on, his playoff performance, now what he's doing afterwards, celebrating.
Yep.
Everybody fucking loves him. Like this is unfucking
Videos are
believable.
great.
He was a
You
great.
saw him at the club,
The trolling,
like,
everything. Yeah.
passing him
He's like,
around the
people keep
crowd.
handing him waters, and he's just like pouring the waters out. Like it's incredible what these guys doing.
And there was one video I saw where he was like trying to go back in the club, and he was so wasted. I guess they were pulling him out. His teammates.
I mean, look, I mean, if Fitz went out and got Marshawn, I mean, I would be okay with it. And I think some of what you're saying, Tony, I think also that comes with us getting older when you hate players, and then you kind of get older and you've watched enough hockey to kind of just know that, you know what, I don't like this dude because of what he does to, you know, my favorite team when we play him, but you have that respect for him. And
who's your most hated player, Chris?
Ever?
In the league? And Tim, yeah.
Well, that's a great question. Most hated player ever.
Sean
Say
Avery.
mine right away. I had
Sean
the same
Avery.
guy, but
Mark Messier.
Mark Messier.
Yeah.
Sean
Most
Avery.
I've met him. He was a douchebag. I hated him as a player. I mean, the "we will win" still annoys me when I see that shit. My most disliked player is him.
Sean Avery. Fuck that little
Sean
guy.
Avery is one too. I mean,
Even
yeah,
though he was an Oppenheimer.
Yeah, he was a douchebag too.
Sean Avery's definitely one. But yeah, there were mostly Rangers though. I mean,
Yeah, isn't that funny?
I mean, Chris
Of
Drury,
course they are.
who I still hate. Eric Lindros, I always fucking hated Lindros.
But Messier just has that. Think about he has that. What is the Muppet Eagle from the Muppets? He has that
Sam the
look to
Eagle.
him.
I said that
Yeah, it
the
looks
other
like
day that
Sam
you
the
call
Eagle,
him
this
that.
guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like Sam the Eagle. That's what I see. Just a douche.
Well, you know, Mike Ruff is talking about the kid
Lamico.
what's his name?
Juho Lamico.
Juho. Okay, we're gonna Lamico. I
Kind of an unfortunate first name, not gonna lie.
yeah,
Just
it
have some
kind of is.
instruments behind it when you say it.
But I'm curious to see what this kid could do. I really am. I mean,
Yeah, he could surprise the shit out of us. You know, I don't
I
think
agree,
we're
Steven.
in a world anymore where you can go find a hidden gem in Europe that nobody knows about. Like pretty
Right.
much, you know, everybody knows about every player out there. This guy's
Right.
got good size. He could surprise us. I have no idea. Mike likes him, and I don't know. I trust about half of his opinions. So
well, he played
Yes.
up there, so he saw him.
yeah,
Steven,
and
I
honestly,
agree with
like,
you, man. They fixed that shit. Sorry about that.
I enjoyed talking about Marchand and Bennett, but like they're signing in Florida. Like you see same like this
Yeah.
press tour, like the way these guys love each other. Like I don't see how either of them would leave Florida. That would be fucking crazy if they did.
I have to say, as much as I hate the mouth breather Kachuk brothers, Matthew did say that ownership and Bill Zito get a little mad at him because he tells guys like, look, I if you're a UFA, like go get paid. Like if you can go somewhere else and get your money, go get your money. And like they were like Zito's like guys that are, you know, yeah, exactly. And but he's, you know, he said it. I'm always a player first guy, and if they can make as much money as they can, which I agree with, absolutely, go get paid if you can. But when you have your own teammate who, you know, hey Sam, you are Conn Smythe, we're only going to give you $7 million a year, but you can get, you know, 9 playing somewhere else. Go get it.
Yeah. And I think, you know, a lot of conversation recently has been about all the tax stuff. And I think this is kind of where it comes into play in terms of retaining a player. But
right.
Everyone who about that Florida organization, the facilities, the ownership, the management group, like getting to drive to the practice rink in a fucking golf cart, driving by palm trees, wearing flip-flops. Like the second you get to experience that type of environment, it'd be very hard to be like, yeah, sure, I'll go sign in Winnipeg.
Exactly.
Like, no thanks.
And look, you know, they're set up and they're going to be right there again. And anybody that doubts Florida moving forward, I think is just ridiculous. You know, until somebody beats them, they're the best team, period. And they're one of the best teams that I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
They're great too.
So,
I think we're not. I think we have no. I have to be honest. I see a comment here about Bennett and Marchand. I don't. At the end of the day, we're not getting these two guys.
no, I agree. I don't think it's ever
agree.
going to
I don't
happen.
think so.
Not
The
even
whole
a-
the Bennett stuff
Yeah,
and
it's
the
not
Marchand.
happening.
I would love that. I'd give
it's
Bennett
not
fucking
happening.
Hollow and Pilat's money right like tomorrow, but it's just not going to happen.
I mean, I
2001
said
was a great team.
I said in January that Tom Fitzgerald's main priority this summer should be to go out and sign Sam Bennett. That was so far before Sam Bennett did what he did, and now 31 other teams want him. So yeah, you don't have a chance, 2001 being our best team, Stephen Engel said. That team was phenomenal.
Team was
And 2000 was phenomenal. And
But 95, you always remember.
But this Florida team reminds me a lot of the Devils 2000-2001 teams. They just the four lines. They have their one big line. Devils had their one big line, especially in 2000. But 2001, all four lines. These guys scored. Everybody scored. I mean, it was just they played great defense. You had great goalie. You had great coaching. They were very similar in the way that they play at playoff time. And
I think
it's
they
a
got
recipe for success.
20 goals from their decor in the playoffs. 20.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
It is.
I think it is their top 9 forwards. Every one of them had over 18 points. I think that was the first time that's been done since the 1982 Islanders or something weird like that.
Now, Mike Rupp brought up Mangiapari from Washington. I've heard some stuff about him too, about possibly some rumors of him maybe coming. Now, is he a UFA or is that a trade? I think it's a UFA, right? Yeah. And
I've heard about Dvorak too. Could be an interesting idea.
What do you guys think about that Philadelphia move?
Trevor Zegras?
Yeah.
I mean, I think I texted it to you guys. I always like Trevor Zegras as far as like his skill. I think he's got amazing offensive skill. I don't think he has any interest in playing defense or becoming a more rounded player. And I think that is why him and Pat Verbeek butt heads so much out there in Anaheim, because more is expected. And I just don't necessarily think, and I might be speaking out of my ass here, but that Zegras doesn't put the work in that needs to be put in for him to be the best player he could possibly be. So maybe a switch to Philadelphia, change of scenery. Maybe that's what he needs. If Torts was still there, I would love to see how that goes.
That would be incredible.
But I like Trevor Zegras. I don't want him on my team, but I love watching his highlights. He's a third line guy. I think that's where he belongs. And power play time, I think he can help Philly. But
yeah, you put him with Michkov, and the Michigans per 60 are going to be through the roof.
Yeah,
I think Zegras gets a lot of shit because of that skill, and he came out of the gate with the Michigans. He did that flip over the net goal, and people were freaking out about that. He definitely has a lot of skill, but I'm not going to speculate on a guy's habits, but he probably weighs $140. Like he's going to get his fucking ass kicked. Like. And he's a yappy little mouthy guy. Like he needs to kind of rehabilitate his image a little bit. And Philadelphia's going to treat him like shit.
I mean, if he doesn't perform, yeah. I do want to talk about, because next week is going to be the big week, hopefully some things get done before trades or whatever get done before Tuesday. But just so you guys know too, like all you guys listening, Tuesday night, probably around like 10 p.m. after all the dust has settled, we are going to do a live show to kind of go over everything from free agency and go over it. So it might be a nice, long, fun show. So put that in your calendar, guys. That's going to be a good time. But with the season coming up and with the roster as is, I understand that it might not be this come October, but the 3 Devils starting 3rd up to 1 being the guy that has the most to prove. Who are your 3 Devils that have the most on the line this year going forward? We'll start with number 3, kind of go around, and then we'll talk about it. So, Tim, who would be your 3rd guy?
I just want to organize this in my head. And assuming the guys that are on the roster right now are the guys that are going to be, right?
Yes, yes, of course.
3rd guy, I'll say Dawson Mercer.
Okay.
He needs to score more. He needs to get back to that kind of mid-20s goal role. He needs to be more effective on the wall. He needs to be more effective clearing the puck out of the zone. He needs to put on some weight and stop being the Matrix and actually stop ducking hits and stop bouncing off of people. He's good. He's a good net front guy. If he can kind of hone that in, he may wind up in our top 6 with, say, like Nico and Timo. I think that wouldn't be the worst thing in the world to put him there. So I'd put him number 3.
And I also think with Mercer, because he's not on my list, so I just want to kind of jump on yours. With Mercer, you have a couple of guys like we talked about, right? Dicklick and Hamada coming in, and the other guy, Juno. I'll get their name straight by Christmas. I promise.
Haminaho and
Hamanaho, good slick.
I don't know why I'm saying this like he's
and,
their
and who's
Japanese
the other
names,
one?
they're Finnish. Jesus Christ, Chris.
Okay, those three guys.
Read a book. Read a book, pal.
We know who I can read. It's just a retention that's the problem. But so if those guys, one of those guys, or two of those guys, hopefully three of those guys, if they go out and outperform Dawson Mercer this year, that's a big issue. Then yeah, I'm with you. Like he has some guys now coming up that are nipping at his heels. Maybe this dude needs to, he definitely needs to step up. Who's your third guy, Tone? Unless you want to add something about Mercer if he's not your guy.
Nemitz, I guess I would have to say. If he's still there, that would be, that would
so
be
Nemitz is your third guy?
Yeah. That's my third guy.
Yeah, I mean, I could see that. I love how he played in the playoffs. And DeMike said, God, Chris Dano is better at names. He might be. He might be, bro.
Yeah, these names are going to fucking melt Danico's brain.
I wonder if I wonder if like Chico and when these moves get made, if they're just looking like, what the fuck?
Oh God, yeah. Kenny,
Fitz is doing this just to fuck with him.
Kenny has like heart palpitations when he's looking at the friggin' lineup sheet for some of these games, man. But like I said, I'll get their names right.
I know you're doing it for a specific reason. So.
Yeah, it's fun. Nemec, I mean, the way he played in the playoffs, like if that's his game and it can only elevate, like if that becomes his floor, you got a fucking hell of a player there. And I think a lot of it with Nemec last year was just the confidence level. Like I think it was just him figuring it out and getting the confidence to say, okay, I can play my game. I'm capable of it. And just going out and doing it. And in the playoffs, hey man, it was down to a skeleton crew, and this dude absolutely stepped in and played out of his head. Him, Dumoulin, like those were our two best defensemen. I mean, I think they were our only two. I think they were playing 75 minutes a night each. But overtime. There you go. So my third guy is actually, we talked about him before, Dougie Hamilton. And it comes down to if Dougie's going to be on this team, dude, you have got to stay healthy. And you've got to get back to that rocket shot from the point. If he's not 100% and anything is still lingering from that pec injury that I think limited him to not being able to take that shot as much as he as good as he does normally, then yeah, I mean, he's got to step up. He was our big pickup. He's a lot of money. You missed over 120 games. He's got to stay healthy. That's my number 3. And Tim's gone. He froze up again. And Jay Snow's. Yeah, I know. And
chickens.
What did he write? Your $1 million lottery play of the game by Habanero. And says device is not connected.
Habanero would be easy.
I don't know what's going on. And Jay Snow's right with Bratt needing to step up in the playoffs. But yeah, I mean, we'll get to playoff guys that have to step up when we get to the playoffs. So yeah, Bratt's our Marner. Come on, Tim. All right, so Tone, who's your second guy?
Probably Kovacevic, because we have him for a bunch of years. We have him for a whole bunch of years. Well, not a whole bunch, but a decent amount of years now. So you're hoping that it was a smart move. So we're going to find out next year, because I mean, like you said, I think that
next year.
Yeah.
I mean, my second, let me just text Tim real quick. It says your device isn't connected. So
he's texted me and said there's a bunch of porn stuff flashing up on his computer.
Oh, you got that virus again.
Cam, he says, yeah.
All right. So my second guy is actually Timo Meier. Like it's time for Timo to be Timo all year. 82 games plus the playoffs. It's not, this whole just getting by until March and then Timo just flips the switch. He has to play better and he has to be available all year and play at that level. So again, kind of falls into like the Mercer slot of you got to make sure that this guy has a actual job description. He has to be slotted in the right spot to get the best out of him. And I hope that we see it, because if we can get Timo playing at that March Timo Meyer level, starting from game one, Devils are going to be a much, much better team. So I'm really hoping that Timo Meyer can start getting back to playing that way. So I don't know who Tim has. I don't know where he went. But yeah, the Kovacevic contract too is another reason. Like, he has a lot.
That's my big reason why I said him, because it's like, that was kind of that's a decent amount of time we have him for that.
Yeah.
So it's a commitment,
And I don't necessarily think he showed us enough to warrant that contract. That contract to me was just out of the blue. I didn't understand it. I still don't. And we talked about it earlier in the show.
We liked him too. We did like him.
But there was no need to do it then. There was just no need to do it then, and if you didn't do it when you did it and you held off after the playoffs, this guy's not getting that contract. And we have ourselves $4 million extra in cap space. And okay, we're down a defenseman, but he's injured. And if he's really going to be out 9 months, who knows if that's a knee ligament, he could not be back at all for the 25-26 season, or even worse, he may never be the guy he was.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of risk in that contract right now. There was risk in that contract before the injury. Now with the injury, it's 100 times riskier. Yeah. Tony's second guy, Tim, was Kovacevic, and we were just kind of going over that, and mostly the contract and stuff. And mine was Timo. For me, Timo Meyer's got to start playing Timo hockey from October right on through. That's what I want to see. So who's your second guy?
Timo. Okay. Same exact reason. Like, I appreciate Timo. I love the way he plays, but he's also here to put the fucking puck in the net. And all of his underlying advanced metrics are great, but score goals, man. Like, that's what you're here for. If he scores less than 30 goals this year, I think we got to start having a serious conversation about him. One of the issues, though, I think that we needs to be sorted out is where he's going to be on the power play, because I think we need to rearrange the power play a little bit so he can be in that right flank side that Bratt usually takes. And if we put Bratt on the power play too, I'm fine with that as well. I think the way I think it should go, assuming Dougie's not here, is Luke up top, Jack on the left flank. Oh, what the fuck is this thing starting? I had to download this new fucking app for some meeting I was in, and now it's like taking over my computer. So Luke up top, Jack left flank. No. Timo right flank, Nico in the bumper, and Bratt actually kind of that down low net front guy, and with Mercer as well. Or Nason, one of the two. I don't know. It's just there's only so many guys and so much time and so much space to go around, and I think that's we could clamor for all these top six guys like Ehlers or McCann, but if they're not getting power play one time, their production is going to suffer. That's really it. And it's not my computer; it's my internet connection and where I live, and I'm like 3 rooms away from the internet router, and I'm installing an Eero mesh system right now that is a pain in the ass. It's also 100 degrees out, so fuck off, Jay Snow.
Tim's in charge of the customer service. Chris freezing up again. Here we go.
Yeah.
There we go. This is what happened to us before. Chris is probably cursing right now. I can hear him. I can't hear him actually.
Oh, there he goes.
Dude, we had a shit show earlier with this. It was like for probably like we had started doing maybe 5 minutes or some shit like that, and it was just all downhill.
Yeah, rough. My computer is basically it's just like a bunch of fucking little Chinese guys in the basement.
Let's see if he's back or is.
So I think what a lot of people we really need to understand is how much power play time affects production. And I think a lot of people kind of misunderstand that. And like, yeah, we want to bring in good players, but if you're going to give a guy $8 million and expect him to put up, 80, 90 points, he's got to get power play time. Like, there's Brandon Hagel on Tampa Bay was the first guy in like 40 years that scored more than 30 goals without sniffing power play time this year. So it really is a significant issue.
I think Chris is. We've lost Chris for
so,
a while.
No,
I
so
agree. I agree.
So who would be your first guy then?
I have to say Mercer, because I just never. I thought it was a couple guys I thought of, but I think, I even got the damn jersey, man. He was the first Devil in a while. I got the custom jersey, and I just never, never misses a game, man. But just need a little bit more out of him. So I think I would say, they could move him even. Like him, I mentioned Nemitz also. Like these are guys they could move maybe before the season even starts.
Yeah.
And these guys are guys that I feel like have to step it up. Shit. Look at last year compared to the year. There's a lot of bad seasons last year for a lot of dudes that just had off year. You hope it's off years, right?
Yeah, and that's you look at good teams that have good seasons, like everybody kind of all boats, whatever the fucking phrase is. I don't know. My brain's melting, but that happened to us. What was it, 3 years ago, 2 years ago? God, it's gonna be 3 seasons now. A record-breaking season is everybody had a career year and everybody had a good year. Like that was the year Timo came over and he put up 40 goals in combination. Dougie had 20 plus goals. We were overtime gods. Jack hit 99 points. Like we need everybody to exactly. Vanacek of all people, Stanley Cup champion, Vitek Vanacek.
So Tim, I don't know about you. I'm happy. I know there's some people who are pissed seeing those guys win. Like I was happy for them.
Yeah.
If you go to the Rangers, I don't ever want to see you win again. But those guys. I was happy to see them get a ring.
It's not their fault that we didn't resign them. Nosek was hurt the entire time he was here.
I did like Nosek too when he was.
Yeah, I did too. I thought he would have been a good guy to keep around, but like he played like one healthy game with us and actually was like, oh, this guy's actually pretty good. But he's a fourth line guy. You can replace fourth line guys. Yeah. Boquist, I think, had some upside, but he's built like a pencil. So it's just like, where does he kind of slide in? Vanacek,
I felt bad for Henrique, man. I felt bad for Henrique a little bit.
Rico.
It's what, 2 years in a row now. Obviously, his time with Jersey.
He was the guy that I thought would be. For the 3C position, I'm looking around the league. I feel like that kind of player, like the Henrique or the Ryan O'Reilly, is like that veteran, good two-way player. Can give us 40 to 50 points and take some of the defensive heat off of Nico. That's kind of my ideal target for that player.
I liked Henrique too, man, because think about it. Like he was a guy who really loved being a Devil. Like I know he was, when he left, it was.
I hate everything right now. I'm sorry. What were you guys talking about?
Henrique, actually, but we're talking. It led to that.
We're talking. We were spitballing, Chris. We didn't have our D leader here.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we should probably wrap this thing up before anything else happens. So let's talk about our number one guy.
Okay, you don't want to do the because. All right, I have one devil's advocate that I promised Mike Ruff that I would do. So can we at least do this one?
Yes, we can do
this
one.
After we do our number one guy. My number one guy is Jack Hughes.
Hang on, Tony. Who's your number one guy?
I said Mercer.
Oh, my number one guy is Jack Hughes too. So go ahead, Tim.
Yeah,
I thought we might all have Jack Hughes. That's why I asked.
He needs to stay healthy, put up 120 points, and drop his nuts on the league. Like that's what we need from this kid. Like there's no ifs, ands, or buts, because if he gets hurt again, we got to start talking about shipping him out.
I agree. I don't think there's anything else to say. I mean, the guy's talent is top 10 in the league. One of the 10 best NHL players, hockey players on the planet. And he can't stay fucking healthy because he has balsa wood bones and he plays at 130 miles an hour every fucking game. So, yeah, I mean, this team's only going as far as Jack Hughes and Nico Hischier take them. And I have no doubt that Nico Hischier is the man for the job, but I have a lot of doubt that Jack Hughes can stay healthy enough to do it. I think if he's healthy, yeah, he can do it. But this has got to be the year he's got to get it. He's got to stay healthy. And you exactly right, Tim. He's got to do 100 points. Go show everybody that, you know, this is who you are and that you can stay healthy for a whole year and take this team deep into the playoffs.
Yeah, because once we get there, like he fucking balled out in the playoffs. Like he was awesome. Like
Yeah.
he's got it, and like he's undersized. Yeah, I get it, and he maybe made a balsa wood, but like the kid's got a fucking nutsack. You know, like he's a good player. All right, Tony. We'll see you later.
Camera's gone.
Jesus Christ. What a fucking mess. What a mess. Maybe we should just end this.
Can you know what? I think that's probably the best thing, because if we get into a devil's but if you want to do the one devil's advocate,
can I just do the devil's advocate? This is actually from the demented brain of Mike Ruff.
Okay, Tony, can you hear us? Okay, Tony,
can you hear me?
Hey, you guys hear me?
Yeah, we got you. You got us?
Yeah, I got you, I think.
Okay, so Tony, we're gonna play devil's advocate. Oh, wait, he was there. Okay, You know how to play this game, Tone?
We got to fire our producer.
I do not know how to play this game.
Okay, so Tim is going to give us a question or a statement or something, and then he's going to tell you to defend one side of it and me to defend the other side. And it could be something you completely disagree with. You have to make a coherent argument for it.
Oh, God, I'm awful at this shit.
Nope, you're going to be good at this, Tony, because
I don't think so, but I'll
because the question that Mike Ruff gave me to ask you guys is specifically, this actually is right up your alley.
Okay.
All right. Who is the better and more important player to their team? Chris, you are going to argue that Matt Rempe is more important than Curtis McDermott. And Tony is going to argue that Curtis McDermott is more important than Matt Rempe.
All right, so it's obvious how much more important Rempe is to the Rangers than Curtis McDermott is to the Devils. Half Devil fans, if you went up to them and just said, hey, who's the, best fighter? Who's our thug? Who's our fucking, whatever? They won't even know who Curtis McDermott is. But Ranger fans, they love Matt Rempe. They named him after a fucking building, the Rempire State Building. The guy is so important to this team that his play and how he hits and the dominance that he has. And I mean, I get it. He is a deer on ice skates when he's out there. He is a terrible hockey player, but what he brings to that team is just more than Curtis McDermott could ever bring to the Devils. When McDermott first got here, yeah, he played all right. He got into some fights. We really liked him. The guys love him in the dressing room. They say he's completely, his work ethic, everything is all, but that doesn't translate to what they're doing on the ice. Rempe translates to what they're doing on the ice. This team gets so fired up. 20,000.
All right, I can't take this anymore. Shut the fuck up. Tony, what do you think about Curtis McDermott?
I don't even know what to say now, man. Mine's going to be very short. Curtis is better because he's not Rempe. I can't stand the motherfucker.
I think Tony wins that.
Tony wins.
Yeah.
Tony wins.
There you go.
That's all you needed. Because, look, I can't stand Matt Rempe.
Can't stand him. Can't stand you.
Is he your most hated player today? Because I think that he would be my number one hated player today.
Matt Rempe?
Yeah.
He's not even a pimple on my ass.
I just can't stand the motherfucker.
I do
Might
not
be
even
right,
think
Chris.
about him.
I can't say who mine is because
Why?
He's just probably has too many fans. I don't like Ovechkin. Not
Oh,
an Ovechkin
that's fine.
fan.
That's fine.
You don't have
You're
to like
allowed
Ovechkin.
I'm not an Ovechkin fan, but I think as of like who I actually just can't stand to see on the ice besides Ovechkin would definitely be him.
And to be honest, I would take Curtis McDermott over Matt Rempe every day of the week, just for the reason that Tony said. He's not Matt Rempe. I can't stand
much playing time though, does he?
No, but there's a difference between being an enforcer and being like I said, that you have to look at Matt Rempe, and we can talk about him till for however long as you want. But the thing about Matt Rempe over his course of his career so far, that's pretty obvious, is one of two things. Either one, he is a very, very bad hockey player, or two, he's a dirty fuck. It's one or the other. Like you can't. There's no in between with the guy. And I
will
think
say
that
this.
he's a dirty fuck.
I will say this: when he first came, Chris, if you remember back when it was when we first started doing this show, I did. Of course, I don't like anybody who's wearing a Ranger sweater, but I will say
Sure.
this: when he first started playing, I said, okay, I was glad to see a player at first. Like I'm saying, the first maybe 2 weeks, this guy's on the ice. I'm like a player who has that dirtiness again. I was like, okay, I kind of like this attitude. Couldn't after a while, he's just cheap shots, just being a total prick.
When he's
couldn't
putting
stand it.
guys on IR every
But
other
at
fucking
first,
game.
I had that whole we're having this part of hockey is back a little bit because we grew up with the Chris Simons and these guys.
Yeah, but
It's
they were just good enforcers and tough
well,
dudes.
exactly. Well, Chris Simon was a good player too in general.
Chris loves Rempe.
I'm gonna go get myself a Rempe jersey. That's what I'm gonna do. All right, but
I know
before
you're very disappointed he couldn't get his Rogers jersey. I'm sure, Chris.
Let me tell you, I do want to talk some football too, but not tonight because I don't trust the internet isn't gonna, so we're gonna actually wrap this up, guys. This was a lot of fun, of course, hanging out with you guys, and we will be back another show this week. And if anything pops and we get a trade or anything like that, we'll come on and do an emergency episode and talk about that. And then definitely a week from tomorrow, boys, free agent frenzy, the Uncle Pucker free agent extravaganza. We'll call it that.
I will not be here for this event, unfortunately.
Tony will be asleep.
Tony will be napping.
You can wake up at 5 o'clock. It's free agency, man. It's
Tony,
summertime.
have some fucking dedication to the show, Tony.
Yeah, I know.
Come on.
Right?
We got up at 6 a.m. for your ass to Sunday.
Well,
Sundays,
you want dedication to the show? Tony, what time is it?
It is 1:30 in the morning right now.
Yeah, that's dedication.
Yeah, that's good. I'm just busting your balls, Tony. I was snuggled up in bed at 10 p.m. last night.
I have a show to go to tomorrow. Anal vomit.
Oh God.
The wife is not excited at all about this one.
I wouldn't be. I mean, you drag her to go to fucking dinner in another country with Count Chocula, and then you fucking and then
before we go, I have to mention
see a band called Ass Puke or what is it?
Anal vomit.
Anal vomit
from Peru. So yeah, she's not stoked about this. No, but I have to mention this for the end of the show. Yes, this week when I was a kid, my dad worked for the Redskins for a small period of time. Lived up in West Virginia, and so watch this guy on TV, Count Duvall, dressed like Dracula. For everybody who doesn't know, they have the horror movie host where all the shitty horror movies play, the really bad ones, and they have the guy in between.
Just have Elvira doing it.
Elvira,
Dr.
Paul Bear, all these, well,
he wasn't really a Wolfman,
Svengoolie now is still going from Chicago. But when I grew up, I watched this Count Duvall, and eventually started doing this heavy metal podcast. Had him on a few times. He's in his 70s, still does the show. He's actually in the Horror Host Hall of Fame. He's the only one left of all the creature feature hosts from back in those days. Became friends with him. He and his wife came to town because he's actually has some Lithuanian heritage. So he was traveling, and we went out to dinner with him and his wife. I got the cape back there from him. That's great. But we went there, and we actually talked about he just talked about all this old shit that I remember when I was a kid, man. I have to say it was awesome, dude. And I was cool about it, but I was the whole time I'm like, wow, man, I used to watch this guy as a kid.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and he's still doing it.
That's very cool. All right. Let's get out of here, guys.
We'll keep our eye on that, Jason. No, thank you.
Yeah, like a subscription. Devils reported what's that? They're trying to move Dougie? Is that what he's saying?
Yeah.
Devils reported they're torturing to movie Dougie. They're taking Dougie to a movie. That's it. They're going to go see How to Train Your Dragon. You guys want to say hi to Turbo? Come here, boy.
Yeah, let's see Turbo.
Come here, big guy. Before I get off the show. Woo. You want to say hello?
What's up, Turbo?
Say hi.
What's up, dog?
Okay. All right, we're going to get out of here. A like, a subscription, a 5-star review. If Dougie Hamilton gets traded tonight, we'll actually be back later and talk about it. So that's about it, guys. Thank you so much. For Tim and Tony, I'm Chris and Turbo, and we'll see you guys when we see you.
Thanks, boys.
It's over, Johnny. It's over!